No intro, nothing like that. I just want to get straight into the topic of how self improvement is a paradox. And what I mean by that is the fact that in order to improve yourself, right, in almost any regard, in almost any area of your life, you have to first deplete yourself, right? And I'll give you a couple of examples of that. The first example, and one that I use the most, and the one that I think is, is you can kind of use this literally just one example and apply it to all the other aspects, all the other realms of your life of improvement, is the gym and your physical health. So when you start going to the gym, right? If you're someone that goes to the gym, um, when you start going to the gym, in order to get stronger, you must first become weaker, right? When you go to the gym, you tear your muscle fibers down quite literally and you break them apart, but in order to do what? To build them back up stronger and make them stronger and bigger, right? So, in the same way that you tear yourself down in the gym, in the same way that you tear yourself down physically, right? In order to make yourself stronger, it is the same way in almost any endeavor of life when it comes to self improvement, right? Um, when it comes to your spiritual health and mental health, if you've had an extremely easy life, what makes you think that you are going to be a very strong-minded person, right? If you have not had to go through any challenges in your life or any trials or difficulty or tough seasons, what makes you think that you are going to have an outstanding mindset, right? And an unbreakable attitude and character, right? It doesn't work that way. So be in order to be built up, you have to be first broken down, right? When you want to become a patient person, you don't just magically wake up and you are patient, right? Like it doesn't work like that, bro. When you want to have a stronger character when it comes to being able to push through tough times, you don't just wake up and do that. You have to go through the fire, right? Kind of like the analogy, like diamonds are forged, or like pressure makes diamonds, right? I think that's the saying. So, excuse me, you have to understand that like you can't expect to be someone of outstanding character and someone with an unbreakable mindset and someone with great patience and someone with great mental strength without having to go through hard times, right? Because the people with the easiest lives are oftentimes the most weak minded, right? And I don't mean to call people out, but if you have a crappy mindset, if you have, a crappy sense of like when it comes to being able to be stoic, right? When you have a lack of stoicism and you let any problem get to you, oftentimes it's because you've had an easy life, right? And you haven't actually had to go through many trials, through many challenges. The people who have the greatest mindsets, the people who have the most unbreakable attitudes are the ones that have been through crap, right? They're the ones that have been through sickness, right? But have also experienced the beauty of health. They've been through tough times, but they've also experienced the beauty of the good times, right? Because there is no light without dark. You cannot become someone, like I said, of good moral standing through easy times, right? It just doesn't work that way, bro. So, this whole idea that I say, and in the title of self improvement is a paradox, when you think of improving, you think of getting better, right? And when you think of getting better, you think of you you I'm not going to say what you think of, but you don't think of getting worse, right? When you think of getting stronger in the gym, you don't instantly think about first being weaker and showing how weak you are, right? When you think about becoming a smarter person, you don't think about feeling dumb when you pick up that book, right, for the first time, or you go to a, or you start hanging around smarter individuals, right? Because like I said in the beginning, in order to get stronger, just like when you go to the gym, in order to get strong, you must first become weak. In order to become smart, you must first feel dumb, right? And in order to become more wealthy, you have to first feel like you have less, right? You first have to feel poor. Because it is not until you try to go out and do these things that you realize, and almost that it humbles you to the point where you're like, no, I have to go. It doesn't work just getting stronger. It doesn't work just getting bigger. It doesn't work just getting richer. It doesn't work just getting smarter, right? It doesn't work that way. And it's paradoxically, right, when you think of self improvement, you think, you know, improving, right? Like it's in the name. You think of getting better. But, you know, you don't instantly think about getting worse, right? A lot of people, that's why they stop going to the gym, right? A lot of people, that's why they stop trying to work on themselves, is because they get to the point where they realize, like, okay, no, it's not just getting better all the time. It's actually the complete opposite. It's getting worse at first. And then with that, you build yourself up and then you get better, right? Because, bro, no one went to the gym for one day, got instantly buff, shredded, whatever, in the best shape of their lives, and then that was it, right? No, it's a matter of showing up every single day. It is a matter of showing up when you're trying to improve yourself. It is a matter of being consistent, right? When you are going after a goal or a certain vision, right? It doesn't just happen in an instant. When you want to be a more patient person, you don't just wake up and you're more patient. When you want to be a person who is stronger in the face of adversity, you don't just wake up and that happens, right? Like your character attributes don't just like magically boost like that, right? Like this is not 2K, bro. So you have to understand that there's no avoiding it, right? Like there's no avoiding going through the hard times. There's no avoiding feeling weaker. There's no avoiding feeling impatient, right? Because when you ask God for patience, you don't get patience. You get, yeah, at least in the way you think you're going to get it. You get opportunities that you can test your patience with, right? Opportunities to be patient. When you ask for strength, you don't get strength, right? You don't get that mental fortitude overnight. You get opportunities to show you if you're really strong or not. When you ask to be more disciplined, you are not just going to wake up and get all of your tasks done and be disciplined and resist temptation, whatever. You are going to be more tempted, right? You are going to be more tempted to fall back into certain things or to certain people or be lazy, whatever, right? So you have to understand that it is it's a paradox, right? But that's the thing that people don't understand, and they go into it thinking that it's all sunshine and rainbows. But bro, you have to understand that you have to become worse to get better, right? Like it doesn't work any other way. Yin and yang, right? There is good in the bad and there is bad in the good, right? There is no light without dark. Like, bro, literally, if you really think about it, like the the perplexity and the complexion and the functionality of the universe literally shows you that from a more physical standpoint, the sun goes away every 12 or so hours, right? And then it's dark out. But guess what? That sun comes back. But guess what? You would not appreciate that sunlight if it didn't go away every 12 hours, right? So, just in the same way that you can see in the functionality of the universe, you can apply that same concept into your life and understand, like, yeah, there is no light without dark. I wouldn't appreciate the times that I'm going through right now that are good if I didn't have to go through crappy situations before, right? You wouldn't appreciate that relationship if you didn't have to go through heartbreaks before. You wouldn't appreciate the body that you have, the physique that you have, that you've worked so hard for, if you didn't look like crap before, right? So you have to understand that there is no getting away from the hard things, bro. There is no getting away from, there's no avoiding it. There's just no avoiding it. So you have to be willing, you have to be accepting, right? You have to be accepting of that fact, because it is a fact. You have to be accepting of that and understand that it's a part of the game. But what is on the other side, right? The season of blessings that is on the other side of the season of heartbreak. That is what you do it for, right? So, yes, paradoxically, you get worse to get better, but that's the best part, is that you go through the crappy times and then the good times come, right? But at the end of the day, understand that you have to be ready for what is coming your way, right? You have to be ready for the bad times, because the bad times are ultimately what are going to make you into the person that you're meant to be. The pain in the gym, the tearing down of the muscles is what ultimately builds your physique, right? The testing of your patience and the trials that you go through is ultimately what makes you a stronger, more patient person, right? So overall, avoid do not try to avoid these things. Do not try to avoid the bad things, because those are the only things, the true things, that are really going to make the biggest difference in your character, not only your character, but your overall life, and ultimately your purpose and your destiny.